The Galactic Council chamber hummed with the satisfied murmurs of 100 alien species. High Arbiter Velkan, his crystalline form refracting the violet light of their artificial star, gazed down at the small figure before them. Ilara Morn stood with her hands bound, her human frame seeming impossibly fragile among the towering representatives of the Council's most powerful civilizations. "The verdict is final," Velkan announced, his voice resonating through translation matrices in 1,000 languages. "For the crime of trespassing into forbidden sectors and disturbing the sacred breeding grounds of the Vortesh Collective, the human known as Ilara Morn is sentenced to execution by Dravok." A collective gasp rippled through the observation galleries. Even among the Council's brutal methods of justice, being fed to Dravok was reserved for only the most heinous criminals. The dragon beast had consumed warlords, genocidal tyrants, and cosmic terrorists. Never had such a fate befallen someone so young, so seemingly insignificant. Ilara lifted her chin, meeting the High Arbiter's gaze without flinching. At 23 Earth years, she had survived situations that would have broken most species. She'd crossed half the galaxy in a salvaged shuttle, evaded pirate armadas, and yes, accidentally stumbled into restricted space while searching for her missing brother. But she wouldn't beg. Humans didn't beg. "Any last words, human?" Velkan asked, almost bored. "Tell my brother I tried," Ilara said quietly. "Tell him I'm sorry." The floor beneath her opened and she dropped into darkness. The fall seemed endless. Ilara's stomach lurched as she plummeted through what felt like kilometers of empty space, the sounds of the council chamber fading to nothing. Then, with a bone-jarring impact that knocked the wind from her lungs, she landed on cold stone. She gasped, her vision swimming. As her eyes adjusted to the dim bioluminescent fungi clinging to the cavern walls, she saw it. Dravok. The dragon beast was a nightmare made flesh. Scales of midnight black reflected an oily iridescence, each one the size of a human torso. Its serpentine body coiled through the vast chamber, muscles rippling beneath its armor-like hide. 4 eyes, burning like molten gold, fixed upon her with predatory intelligence. When it breathed, sulphurous smoke curled from nostrils that could swallow a hover transport whole. Ilara scrambled backward, her bound hands scraping against stone. This was it. This was how humanity's latest explorer would end, as a snack for a council pet. But Dravok didn't move. The dragon beast tilted its massive head, studying her with an expression that seemed almost curious. Then it did something that made Ilara's blood freeze. It spoke, not in roars or growls, but in clear, rumbling words that bypassed her translator and struck directly into her mind. "You are not like the others they send me." Ilara's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. In 500 years of recorded history, in all the Council's documentation, Dravok had never spoken. The beast was considered little more than an intelligent predator, a deterrent, an executioner. You can talk?" she whispered. "I have always talked," Dravok replied, lowering his enormous head until one burning eye was level with her face. "They simply never listen. But you smell different. You smell of stars and stubborn hope. You smell human. You know about humans." A sound like grinding boulders emerged from the dragon's throat. Laughter. "I know of all species, little one. I am older than this council, older than their laws and their arrogance. I was here when your kind first left their blue world, when they looked at the infinite dark and decided to embrace it anyway." Ilara's mind reeled. "Then why do you serve them? Why do you execute prisoners?" "Because," Dravok said, his voice heavy with ancient sorrow. "They hold my children hostage. 3 eggs, stolen before they could hatch, kept in stasis in their vaults. Every being I consume, every criminal they throw to me, it is the price of my children's survival." Something shifted in Ilara's chest. Not fear anymore, but recognition. She understood being trapped, understood doing terrible things to protect those you loved. She'd almost died a dozen times searching for her brother. "I'm sorry," she said, and meant it. Dravok's eyes widened. "You apologize to me? You're a prisoner too. We're both victims of their justice." For a long moment the dragon was silent. Then his massive form began to shift, scales sliding against stone as he moved. "The Council believes humans are weak because they are small, because they feel deeply, because they break easily. But I have lived 10,000 years and I have learned this. The species that endures is not the strongest or the smartest. It is the one that refuses to surrender its compassion, even in the face of death. He lowered himself completely to the ground, his head resting beside her. I will not eat you, Alara Morn, but we must make them believe I have. Hope flared in her chest. What are you saying? I am saying that today an old dragon chooses rebellion, and he chooses to be inspired by a fragile human girl who apologized to a monster. High Arbiter Velkan reviewed the execution feed with satisfaction. The audio was chaotic, roars, screams, the sounds of consumption. The visual was obscured by Dravok's massive form. Perfect. Another example made. He didn't notice the slight anomaly in the footage, the way the dragon's movements seemed almost choreographed. He didn't hear the silent plan being formed in the beast's ancient mind. And he certainly didn't see Alara Morn, alive and hidden in a crevice behind Dravok's coiled tail, already plotting how a human and a dragon might steal 3 eggs from the most secure vault in the galaxy. The Council had made their first mistake. They'd underestimated both species. It would be their last.